Hello, everyone. Thanks very much for watching. My name is Natalie Armstrong-Motin, and I have the distinct pleasure to be interviewing today a friend and colleague from Saskatoon, Canada. Hello, Demi. How are you?
I'm very well.
Well, I'm so glad you could join me. I was hoping that you could spend a few minutes. I've got a couple of questions about your practice. Because it is different and it is unique. So for anyone who's been watching these series of interviews, they're going to find your contribution definitely different for a couple of reasons. And one is that I know that you practice with your husband, Kelly, correct?
That is correct.
All right. And so how did you two decide that you wanted to build this practice and do it together? A lot of people would think, oh my gosh, I could never work with a spouse. But for the two of you, it works magically. What made you come to that kind of choice?
Well, it was a long journey. So to begin with, this is my second marriage. So this type of work is very close to my heart, coming out of a separation and divorce. And Kelly has about 10 years of experience working in conflict resolution. So when we got together and I was already doing this work as a mediator, it was very natural for us to kind of share war stories and build on each other's skills. And then we had a beautiful son, and during our mat leave together, he took some paternity leave and I took my mat leave. We kind of got to scheming and we started to come up with this idea that it would work really nicely for couples to be able to use us as their third-party neutral when negotiating their separation agreements, because it gives you a gender-balanced team and it kind of gives that extra layer of protection of impartiality, because you have 4 sets of eyes on your matter instead of just 2. So through that experience and through taking that time off together, we built this dream. And when I started getting back to work, we started building our business.
That's a fantastic formula, a really, really impressive way to approach other couples or other families who are going through divorce or separation or a transition in their lives. Having both you and your husband present must really enrich the environment. I like that a lot. Well done, you.
Thank you.
So now that brings me to another question. I'm assuming, and so you'll correct me if I'm wrong, that all of your clients are couples and families. Is that true?
Yes, we do work with like the more extended family unit. Sometimes it's not just the couple. Sometimes we can bring in the children if it's appropriate to do so, if they're of the kind of correct age where they want to share some important things. And we have had the interesting opportunity of working with some other members of families as well. So sometimes there are some people that have some concerns or need to be brought into the process. So they aren't what we refer to as ghosts in the room. Sometimes there's people that have a lot of influence on a couple or on a family, but they don't get the opportunity to be in the mediation. So they're just kind of in the background, giving those kind of sometimes helpful, but sometimes unhelpful bits of advice. So sometimes it's just easier to cut out the ghosts and just bring them into the space so that they can share their hopes and dreams and concerns in the matter. And then we can have a really holistic type of process.
Okay, and these other people that you're talking about, these are maybe ex-spouses or grandparents or caregivers in some sort of a fashion?
Yeah, definitely. So we have the unique opportunity of working with blended families. So sometimes it is, 2 sets of spouses that maybe have children all together that they're parenting. So it would be in that case an ex. Sometimes those caregivers are grandparents. Sometimes it's aunts and uncles. But we really do try to offer a holistic kind of approach to things. So if it's important, that's one of our questions. And for many other mediators, they'd be familiar with that. Who has the authority here? That's a very common thing. Or, who needs to be present in order to make decisions? And though we don't ask those specific questions, we will say something along the lines of who else might have an important say in the matters that we're talking about today. And then if everyone's comfortable with it, we invite those persons into the group meeting.
Excellent, excellent. And then you also mentioned that you practice a form of mediation called transformative mediation. And so that's going to be different than facilitative or evaluative mediation. Help me better understand what transformative mediation means in your practice.
Absolutely, my pleasure. So one of the things that I love to say about transformative mediation, and I think that I have some cohorts that probably cringe when I say it, but when we work with couples and we're doing transformative mediation or families, we are not focused on the outcome. And that is a very odd thing, perhaps, for some mediators to hear. But what we are looking to do is transform the relationship. So we're not worried about the substantive. If we get there at the end and we get a crystallized separation agreement, wonderful. But that is not our focus at all. What we're working towards is figuring out what's underlying everyone's positions. We're working on those interests. We're working on building understanding, because for us, we know that these couples and these families are going to have a lifelong struggle if they are just in an adversarial approach, or if maybe they agree to something that they weren't really on board with in their heart and in their soul. So we're really working on that understanding piece, because we want these families to be healthy moving forward. Even though they're leaving behind the romantic part of their relationship, we want them to move into this next stage, being friends and being able to be amicable for the sake of their greater family and for the sake of their children.
And I think that for most of us who work in family mediation or arbitration scenarios, we really do focus on children. You know, we can definitely help the adults in the room get a divorce and sort of rewire their relationship, but focusing on the children is really important. So very laudable practice that you guys have built. I'm really impressed.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And one of the other things that impresses me about yours and Kelly's work is that you spend so much time and energy helping and mentoring young mediators who want to grow up and do something like you do. Tell me a little bit about your mentoring work.
Absolutely. So Kelly and I are definitely still on the young end of the mediators out here. We have a lot of great resources of experienced people that we rely on ourselves. And so to kind of pay that forward, we are involved in two different things. The first thing is Mediation Practice Group. So we run a practice group here. It's not our practice group. It is my mother's, actually. She's a senior mediator and lawyer here in the city, and she runs the Mediation Practice Group here, and I help facilitate and organize that. So we're involved with that. That is a networking and practice opportunity for mediators here in the province and in all of Canada. We have people from BC that join us. We have people from Alberta that join us, so that's very lovely. As an offshoot of that, we are also involved in the Under 40 Conflict Resolution Initiative. And that is a provincial initiative which is overseen by our national body, which is the Alternative Dispute Resolution Institute of Canada. A lot of mouthfuls here. And what we do with that is we support other young mediators. It's very intimidating sometimes to get into this work. And there are a lot of people out there that, though they're very encouraging of young people, might say to them, oh, you know, go get 20 years of experience in a related field and then come back when you have a few gray hairs. And we really want to encourage people to be movers and shakers now, to find people that want to use their services, because we have valuable insight as well, even as young people, and we have valuable skills. We have this great gal that's in our group who is actually advertising for college roommates and saying, you know, you have problems with your roommates, come see me and I will help mediate that dispute. And she's just a lovely young gal, and she's doing great work. So we have a real heart for that volunteer work that we do, and we're very excited about it. And we look forward to continuing to help train up those young mediators, to help network with them, and to work on their marketing plans.
Oh, I love that. So Demi, you're not just married to a mediator with whom you mediate, you're a second generation resolutionist.
Yes, I am.
As am I. Good on us.
Wonderful.
Good on us. It really is. I found the tools that mediators use for communication, negotiation, facilitation, reframing, rephrasing. These are life skills that I use in every aspect of my life. And in fact, I remember when my daughter was a young teenager, she would look at me and say, "Oh, Mommy, don't try to mediate me." So, but the practice that you've put together, very impressive. This initiative that you've got for the under 40 mediators in Canada, again, very impressive. Demi, thank you so much for your time today and talking to us a little bit about who you are and what you do. I want to leave everyone with a way that they can reach out and connect to you. What's the best way for people to contact you?
Definitely social media. We're on all sorts of social media. So Facebook. You can also feel free to visit our website, www.themarriagemediators.com, and hit us up with an email, info@themarriagemediators.com.
Fantastic. So themarriagemediators.com is the website. I will, of course, list that down below in the description section, as well as your social media platform handles, so that people can reach out, learn more, maybe volunteer to help your organization in some way, or hire you to help them with their family issues. Demi, thank you so much for your time today. It was a great pleasure getting to know you.
Thank you, and thank you for your time.
It's my pleasure, absolutely. Listen, everyone, like I mentioned at the end of every video, if you enjoyed this content, please feel free to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might find the services that Demi and her husband Kelly offer, or if you'd like to volunteer, give them a call, send them an email, let them know. But as always, thanks for watching. Be good humans.